When you go to the National Treasury, that's an interested party. In fact, the allegations is about the National Treasury in terms of the management of our resources. You don't expect to go there and say, and them to tell you, oh, you know, we admit to our mistakes. They will definitely. In fact, one of the clear manifestations of this delay is the fact that they are manufacturing part of this data as an afterthought. You know, now trying to put some of these things into order. And in fact, that's what a lot of you ask. Like, we're doing the audits for counties. So counties come 6 months after the fact, and they're producing the paperwork. So our question to them, when this audit was being done 7, 8 months ago, why didn't you produce this paperwork? So these are some of the things that now start to pierce serious dents in terms of the government.
If indeed the opposition is interested in having the public money and funds accounted for, and like you say, why should they submit themselves to EACC? What happened to the rule of law in using the institutions that are in place to take care of what needs to be taken care of? Then fault them at that point.
Again, maybe as you answer that question.
Yes, my brother.
When you go to the National Treasury, you're not going there to lend credence to that institution. We just want to see you there, National Treasury here. We hear that debate. We see between you two, you, Raila, and National Treasury, we're talking the truth.
You see, in fact, if you can tell from a fact, you know, I have a lot of respect for my brother Rungu Kangata. We served as student leaders almost at the same time, and I'm happy to hear that you're the poorest member of parliament that we have in Kenya, because you give out your money to worthy causes, which I think is excellent. You do appear to be following the debate, but you don't appear. You will not be persuaded. You get the point. They are already existing. In fact, I've been listening to you. It is evident that you've been reading both sides of the dimensions. But you see, then you can choose where you want to lean on. But I can tell you for a fact, he's talking about the so-called experts of the court brigade. These are experts who are, in my assessment, they're not our experts, but they have been giving independent opinions out there. You know, they're not members affiliated to the court family, or they are not members of the court affiliate parties. Neither are they taking positions in the court coalition. So when you hear Kwame Owino and when you hear David D, I think some of them stand a much higher pace above some of the economists we have in terms of the National Treasury. And I can tell you for a fact, sometimes you believe things on the credibility of the various institutions or individuals that are saying it. So credibility is very important. So I think you cannot tell me that Rotich word can match up, because he's an interested party to an independent analyst who is an economist of note, and people have respected him over the years for his very sound economic interventions in this country.
All right, Empress Weda.
I think let also Jubilee appreciate that the truth, and the definition of truth here is the original information, is with government, and all rumor-mongers outside there are entitled to rumor-monger until the truth comes out, and the truth is with Treasury. So it was their responsibility to place on record the correct original information to answer each and every question. And I'm sure Honorable Raila would have been quiet. As we dilly-dally, people think there's something you're hiding and you're manufacturing the way he's saying, and then you lend credence to some theft or some other things. Some of these things, they are there in the Treasury, they would have come up and say, you are saying this, you are saying the money was not brought, you say this is the evidence, it was brought. You are saying the money was put in a private account, this is how it was wired. You are saying, you answer, there are about 10 questions on Braila was asking, which are very easy to answer. So there was dilly-dallying and meandering, which caused more problems going forward. Do you
accept that it was unnecessary for them to actually delay with that?
Yes, it was not. It was not correct.
Okay, could that be a reason? Could that be a question marks?
It is the dilly-dallying that creates question marks. When you gerrymander, then people think there's something fishy. So going forward, they should know that whenever a question is asked where people seek the truth, and the truth is the original information, they should be very quick, because the responsibility to give information is on government to their citizens, not on Honorable Raila to come with information. So there, I think we didn't get it right, and we need to get it right moving forward, so that a lot of uproars and hullabaloos, we could be saved. They know Honorable Raila very well. He will make a lot of issues and noise. So the moment he opens his mouth, put those things on the table and tell him, read, photocopy them, put them in a wheelbarrow. We'll give them to him and to his experts.
All right, finally, as time is not on our side, maybe your comments, Senator Hassan Omar, on the by-elections in Kericho. Is that maybe what we should expect in 2017, where we can see Kenyans are literally getting hold of what would have thought as very experienced hands in politics?
You know, I think when you decide to leave your party, you must go where you're going with a lot of surety. I think that as a total humiliation for Magerere and Franklin Bet by what we call a newcomer. Also, it shows some fatigue with the Kenyan people on account. In fact, maybe that's where we need to have a critical self-assessment of ourselves. No, you and I and everybody else. Kenyans voted a fairly I will give a lot of fodder to whether, unfortunately. Kenya voted a fairly young parliament because they wanted to have a qualitative break from the past. Apart from Senate, the Senate has a couple of, just a few people who are probably new in the political sphere, and even public service sphere. But in terms of the National Assembly, I meet some National Assembly members to date. I have met them for the first time. That's how new people are in terms of the sphere of the National Assembly. And it is deliberate. They want a break from the past. They want certain qualitative, repositioning of the culture and the realm of politics in Kenya. And that could be also the statement that is coming out from Kericho, that we really need something fresh. And therefore, that said and done, we must give Kenyans what they are trying to speak to us through in terms of their ballot.
Do you think so far you have done that, Senator?
I think I've done well. On my own assessment, I said I could have done better. Like everybody, you try your best, but your best might sometimes fall short of the overall expectations. But I have tried my very, very best. I have done what any senator will be expected to do under extreme circumstances. Particularly from Irungu and his colleagues.
We'll leave that to the people of Mombasa County. We need to wrap up, Senator. I need to get closing comments from Irungu Kangata regarding Kericho very briefly, tafadhali, so that we can finish with Weda.
We are so happy for us young parliamentarians, because it shows that indeed Kenyans want young people to lead them in politics. So to me, it was a celebration. And number two, it does show that indeed JAP is a very open and a democratic party. Compare JAP nomination in Kericho and what is happening with ODM down in Coast, I think in Malindi. We have seen people fighting. Up to now, we do not even know who is the winner. It shows that ODM and CORD, they are dictatorial. There are parties which don't embrace democracy.
We'll not have time to give answer to answer to that.
We've had other nominations.
We need to close.
But I wanted to just add one thing on this Cheriot guy. I think people have been tagging me. He's a former Moi University student leader. And I think the Moi University fraternity is abuzz with excitement because he follows in our footsteps.
All right, thank you very much. Ambrose Weda, in 2 seconds.
All I can say is this. Some of these people you call big names, they were big because they were given positions. Bet was made a State House controller, extending influence here. They are not people.
So you'd say there's a wind of change.
They are not people who have given themselves, poured themselves out to the people of Kenya and to humanity. Now people want people pour out. That is why young people are coming in. And you better be ready, those of you who have been big titles.
Maybe for 2017, we better embrace ourselves. I'll just read a few comments that have come through. We have Soldier Boy who says that please let's not politicize KDF issues. They are not anywhere near to be experts, I guess, referring to the panel here today in terms of security. Weda is making a simplistic argument on Morning Express. Okay, that's his opinion. We also have somebody who says that media did brief on KDF and found it involves a shady business. Well, your comments still coming through, and well, if there's time within the next hour, we shall see whether we can address that. But that's where we're going to wind up Morning Express this morning, but do stand by for News Hour coming up in just a few minutes.